Hello guys, how are you doing? So, sometime last week, I made an announcement that I'm embarking on a project to help designers, especially brand designers, to speed up the process. But not just speed up, but majorly to help manage their clients and also manage their brand design project from start to finish. And here is a quick showcase of how far the project has come. So, the name of the project is called BrandingOff, just like Handoff, Sign Off, but we decided to make it BrandingOff. It's going to be a platform, or should I say, a web app that will enable brand designers, especially, to be able to manage their brand design projects. And we build a landing page and everything. But this is not why I'm here. I'm here to show you guys the the app itself at work. So first of all, when you go over to the app, you'll be served with the login page, and from here you can just quickly sign up. Okay, you can just quickly sign up using your account. You can use either email and password, or you can just use your just easily sign up using Google. So once you sign up, the next thing that happens is that it takes you straight to your dashboard, and there you get to see your projects you're managing and new ones. But the major thing here is that if it's your first time, definitely you have to create a new project for your client. And when you're creating a new project, this pops up. You put in your client's name, your client's email, their WhatsApp number or their number. Then what are you going to be doing for that project? That is the project notes, and then you click on create project. Now, also, just so you know, this particular app is both free and paid. So there's a pro plan and there's a free plan. So for the free plan, while we are still about to launch, but the launch price is set at don't worry, when you guys sign off, you're going to see it. But let me not go into that. I'm here to focus more on the solution, not the app itself. Okay, not the pricing or whatever, but the solution I'm offering or the solution we are offering with this app. So when you create a project, the first thing you need to do is that let's say you create a project. Now from there, you go to client brief. Here we have the overview of your client details and everything. You go over to client brief, and here is already a pre-made client brief link that is already available for you to send to your clients so that they can just fill it up immediately. So the client brief is already here. And as you can see, it is waiting for the brief. It is still waiting for the brief. So when your client fills up the brief, it automatically updates on your dashboard. So you don't even need to do anything or whatever, or let your client send you back PDF, or no, you just automatically update on the dashboard. But you might say, oh, the link for every client has their own link. Okay, it's the same brief, the same direction, but different links so that it can easily update based on the client's project dashboard, whatever. So let's just see a view of this particular project brief. So if you click on preview as a client, you can get to see how it's going to be, but then you can just copy the link and then send it to your client, or you can just click on WhatsApp and to just automatically take it straight to your WhatsApp, and you can just send it to your client, or you can just copy the link and send to them via email, whichever one you prefer. So let's say we copy the link, for example. So when you copy the link, it automatically updates here. Your project automatically updates here, and then you can come here to choose where exactly you are in the project. So now, when you click on the link, this pops up. It automatically has your logo, your branding, everything, your brand and everything. It contains your logo, that is your business logo and the name, and then your client can go ahead and keep and start filling up the brand guide. But I already have something that I've already filled up. So let's quickly look at what I filled up already here for a particular client. So here we have this where the client is going to put in their details. So this is where this stage one is getting to know you, which is the client. Tell us about your business. Then when the client gets to know everything, when the client fills up everything, the client can now go ahead to check, is it a fresh brand? Like at default, this is what it shows. Okay, at default, this is what it shows. Let me just quickly cut this out. So at first, this is what it shows. So if the client is the first time the client is trying to brand their business, this is what pops up. But if the client is undergoing a rebrand, this is what comes up, and they can fill in why they want to rebrand their business. And then they can now go over, when they are done with this page, they can go over to the next, which is now brand values. And then they can just tick. They don't need to type. They just select what they want in their brand values. And then they select again And this is for what are your core brand values, and then we have what would you describe your business personality. We have a good number of them, and then what brands do you admire and why. This is where they list their competitors and why they admire their competitors. And then once they are done with this page, they click to the next, which is the differentiation. And this is where they talk about why should they choose you. That is, why should your client choose you. It has the heading and the description. And then what makes your brand different from competitors, and the feeling, every single thing. And then you click on next, which is now, that is your client to click on next, which is now where they find their target audience. And they just need to select their target audience. And then when they are done with this part, they describe their ideal customers in their own words. And then they put that because we believe that that is going to help in the strategy phase of the identity design. And then they look for visual direction. And this is where there's a sample of colors that they can choose from to aid you speed up the process in you selecting the colors. So instead of client writing, they can just see the colors as it is, not blue, and imagining how blue would look like. They can see the colors, or they can just leave it to the designer. And that means you have the freedom to work on the colors, to come up with the colors yourself. And then they can go ahead and say where will your logo be used, and they will list out all the places their logos will need to be used. And then they cannot choose if they want a website from you or not. And then they will now go to the budget timeline. Now, this is where BrandingOff is different. We work with Naira because technically this app is basically is built for the African designer and for the Nigerian designer. We want where people can easily understand what they are doing, or what they are, it's easy. It's an easy process. You get, because many a times you tend to deal with Nigerian clients, you tend to deal with foreign clients, and it can be very, before you try to convert and do this and do that. But we believe with time we are going to develop the app. From your feedbacks, we're going to see how we can make the app better. But for now, because of the nature of the target audience we are targeting with this app, we believe it's going to be best if we make this work within this range. However, the clients can decide to choose from the estimated budget range. Okay, so we didn't just cap it at a particular number, so they can choose a range, and then they can decide to choose open to discussion, or they will prefer not to say how much they want to pay. And it depends on their choice. You will see it at the other end. And then they can also choose the timeline and the urgency of the project. Do they want it ASAP? Do they want it within a month, 1 to 2 months, 2 to 3 months, or they want it to be flexible? Also, they can also think of how were they able to hear about you. So these are just the thing. And then they can click on review and submit. So this will not give them a review of the whole thing that they filled out, and they can go through it to see if everything is on par and if everything is okay with them to do. If nothing is fine, they can just easily click on edit answers, and it will take them back to the previous page, and they can edit the answer or whatever. So once they click on review and everything is good with them, what happens is that by submitting this form, your information will be used exclusively for scope and planning your brand project, blah, 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 blah. Then once they click on submit questionnaire, see what happens. Are all set. And then there's this quick delivery note for them to know what is going to be next. So if they don't just click, and then they answer the questionnaire, they deliver the questionnaire to you, and they don't know what is coming up next. So this also already gives them what they should be expecting from you as a designer. So thank you for taking your time, blah, blah, blah. See what happens next: discovery call, proposal and agreement, concept and strategy. And at least they get to now have an idea of what they should be expecting from you as a designer now that they've submitted their brief. Now, if you now go back to the app, see what happens. Just see what happens. Just give it a moment, or you can just refresh your page, and automatically your client's brief that has been answered will automatically appear here. So let's just refresh our page. This is supposed to appear automatically, but I don't know what's happening. Okay, so let's refresh our page, and then we can go ahead and see what's the next page, what's the next thing on the menu. So now, once we've refreshed our page, you can go back to the client, and then you go back to client brief to read, checking brief status, and you can see it has updated, client brief received. And then you get to see everything that the client answered you already. You get to see every single one of them right here. Now, here goes the good part. You see, it has already automatically updated that brief has been received. I didn't even need to do that. It's already automatically updated. Now, this is now where the fun begins. Now, if you're not clear with what the client have sent to you, you can easily clear and request a new brief, or if you're okay with what they've given to you, no problem. Now let's move on to the next. Now here we have the workbench. Now here we have the strategy. We have contrast. This is where you check when you're now working up with the colors you're choosing for the clients. You can now decide to check the contrast between each of the colors that you're choosing for the clients and check their contrast level to know if they're working all right. We have the typography. This is where you check the different typefaces and how it will work out for your clients. Then we have the asset exporter. Now, this is a very good option. We are still working on this grid view, so I'm not going to explain further into what it is. This is still a work in progress. We are still testing to see if we can fine tune it and make it better. For now, asset exporter is where you can just, when you're done with the logo in its full color, just take the SVG file, put it in here, and it automatically spits out the different variations for you. And you can go ahead and just, so you don't need to do those things manually again. Just work on the main logo itself in full color, send it to BrandingOff, and it spits out the black and the white version for you, and it spits them all out in both SVG, PNG, and JPEG format all at once. You don't need to do anything, but we are going to test that soon. So go over to strategy. Now, this is where our AI comes into place. Now, for a pro user, you get 50 credits a month. 50 credits a month, which is more than enough that you can utilize. But let's use our AI to go at once. Now, your AI, the AI will take all the branding brief that your client has given to you. Now, you can go ahead and fill it up, as you please. So we have the mission statement, the vision statement, which the mission is what the client filled from the brand brief. We have the brand voice, the target audience, and competitor analysis, and brand promise. Now, this is enough for you to start doing your work. But what if you can speed it up properly, like speed it up even further? So now you can just one click and everything sorts itself out. So you can decide to generate them individually, which will take more of your credit, because for each generation you do is one AI credit that you use. So if you generate just the mission statement or vision statement, that is one AI credit. Or you could save yourself and just click on generate full strategy, and you use one credit, one AI credit, to generate every single one of them. So just give it a moment, and everything is generated for you. It breaks it down using your client's brief. It expands on each and every one of them. Now, you as a designer, this is not a final thing. You can still go ahead and you can go through them, edit what needs to be edited, and you see, just one click, you've gotten your full strategy, and you can come down here and you can preview it. You can preview your strategy, which you can also send to the client. So, and also for pro users, you can export that strategy as a PDF, and you can as well send it to the client, and they can go through the PDF. And the PDF is already well structured. It contains the name of the brand or the name of the client, their industry, and also it contains your business name. And then they have their strategy, so they can go through it to know whether you both are on the same direction. So you can also export it as a PDF, and you can send it to your clients. It also have the get in touch or thank you or contact us page, so that in case there's anything, they can easily just reach out to you to they can easily just reach out to you if they don't have if there are some part of the whole strategy that is not completely clear. But this is a good PDF that you can send to your client, and they can go through it to see if everything is okay and good to go. Now that you have your strategy, now you go over to you start working on your logo design. Now, this is now where you work on your logo design. You go ahead, you work on your logos, you do what you want to do, and all of that. Then you come here, you check on the typography to check the contrast. So for now, we are using, if you go here and you can just type in any of the Google fonts, any font that is available on the Google Fonts database. But however, we know that many of us, we don't use just Google Fonts. We tend to download either some pro fonts. So we made the availability for you to upload that font you downloaded as a TTF, .ttf or .otf, and you can now compare and contrast how it's going to be both the header and the body text or whatever you want to use for your client. And you can then apply the pairing, and you can see how it's going to appear. So you can change this text to whatever you want so that you can see how it comes out in your view. So I'm going to quickly export an SVG logo so that you guys can see the asset exporter in work or at work. Okay, so I have an exporter So it's not the logo for this client, but I do have a logo that I've exported. So let's go to the asset exporter. So you can drag and drop, or you can just click on it. And then here we have our SVG. Hold on. Okay, I realized that I didn't export the SVG. I thought I exported it, but I didn't. So let's just click on this, and now we have our SVG right here. So we just import it, and all of a sudden it populates it for you easily. See, one time, there is no stress. Doesn't matter whether it's in full color, in gradient, it automatically creates the black and the white and the white and the black for you. And it creates them in both SVG, PNG, and JPEG format for you. And all you got to do is that you can either decide to download them one after the other, or you could just click on download all, and it downloads all the zip files for you immediately. You can see how instant that was. Very instant. There was no waste of time. And you can come back here and you can review. Let's extract this, and we can easily review what we've done. And here we go. You can see all of them, both in the SVG, everything exported, both in PNG and JPEG, everything. This is one of your PNG. Everything is exported, SVG, PNG, and JPEG. Everything is done for you. And that is it for that. So the next phase we need to go, which the other thing we need to try on, is the brand guidelines. So now here you have your brand guideline. You can actually use it to create a brand guideline for your clients. So yes, you can put in the brand tagline, brand voice. So branding off is not taking away the work process from you or the creative process. Branding off is speeding up the process and eliminating those repeatable tasks that you need to do. So basically, branding off is a tool that isn't there to replace the process, but it is there to speed up the process by helping you solve those repeatable tasks. So let's say, for example, now you have a junior designer who you need to assign these minor things to, like, oh, convert this logo to the various different assets and all of that. Instead of you wasting your time, instead of you having a junior designer or assigning this to somebody, branding up becomes that junior designer or that assistant that can just help do those repeatable tasks for you. So basically, you can now go ahead and then put in all of the colors that you've chosen for your client, up to 5 colors, and then you can also put in their names. You can get that from Coolors. So you can put in all of the hex code the and the and their names. And then you can come here, put in the name of the header font and then the body of the header font. And then again, this is one of the good parts about branding off that is very, very interesting. And that is, you might say, oh, what about your mockups? Yes, we don't generate mockups for you because it is a branding project. You still need to have that freedom to do those other parts for yourself. So you can add other extra pages. This is just like, instead of you starting your brand guideline from scratch, this just helps you to eliminate the whole process. And then that means for now, that means giving you the ability to drop other pages. So it's not just your mockup. So despite it wrote drop mockups images here, doesn't mean it's only mockup. So you can drop other pages that you decided to work on, other custom pages. You can drop them here as long as they're at least within the range of 8 megabytes. You can drop them here, and then you can preview your brand book. For pro designers, you can even download it as PDF if you want. Okay, but you can see that just from the little thing we have, you can already see a little bit of an example of everything here. So let's decide to say we decide to give branding of this brand some colors. So let's just impute some colors and see how it works out. Okay, so moving on from this particular moving forward, I decided to say, okay, let's just work on a typeface. So I decided to just think of DM Serif, since it's a Google font, and you can see that instantly it updates. So we're using DM Serif and DM Sans as the body, DM Sans for the body. And then if you click on apply pairing, you see automatically it updates. And now we have that there. So let's go over back to our grid brand guideline. So I was able to put in this, this is for your cover page. So you can attach whatever you want to use as your cover page, maybe the logo you want to use as the cover page, which definitely we can actually that in. So let's just import this our logo that we already have here. Okay, it becomes the logo that will be on our cover page. We can decide to put the tagline and say for a better future. And then we can say brand voice, radio editor commitment, board, and community. Now you can see that I was able to put in some colors, though I'm just working on freestyle colors, so this is not for a rebranding project. Putting the right colors, and as you can see now, I put in the colors. I was able to put in all of these colors. You can clearly see that while putting in the colors, it generated not just only the hex. Just because you put in the hex code doesn't mean that's the only thing it will give to you. It will give you both the hex code, the ROGB code, the CMYK, the HSB, the HSL, and the Pantone color. So you can already see all of them. So both the arrow, so from the hex code, it gives you every other thing you need to have about that particular color. So the hex code, everything is there. And then we are going to put in DMSRM. So I don't really have anything. So now let's preview our brand book. And automatically you can see that the color updated. The color updated, and you can see the colors already laid out. Like I said, it just makes the work better and faster for you. And there you go. And we are working on a new, now if it was something that we had other things like, we are currently working on new features, on to add more features where you can expand on the brand guideline, put in more things and all of that. But this is just a demo to show you how far we've come in just a week, I guess, in just a week that we have started doing this thing. So this is how far we've come to the whole thing. And now you can either download or preview your brand book. So now moving ahead, you can get to see that this is the last part, which is the handoff. Now the cool thing about handoff is that you can now, for pro users also, you can also generate a handoff link and send to your client. So you don't even need to worry yourself over, oh, I need to send them the PDF, or I need to send this particular thing right here. For example, now you need to bundle the logos, put it in a folder, put in the brand guideline in the folder, put this one here, put that one there. No, the brand brief has everything. So you just click on generate handoff link, and then this is your handoff link generated. You just need to copy it, send it to your client, or send it through WhatsApp. And then once your client clicks on the brand off link, they have access to everything that you've done for them. They have access to their mission, to their strategy. Starting from here, they have the brand strategy, and then it also has the delivery date written by it. It updates based on when you send them that. So they have their strategy there, then they have their brand colors already there for them. They have their brand typeface for them. We are also updating that. And then they have their brand book preview, which they can view, they can download it and get to see it. Take note that our brand guideline, we are putting it at 1920 by 1080p, which is 16 by 9 ratio, which is, I think, is the best dimension for brand guidelines. So they can just download their brand book and they can view it as a PDF. As you can see, they can view their brand book or their brand guideline. There you go. And we are still updating it, and here they can easily download their logo assets as they wish. So they can come here, download the SVG automatically. It downloads. So that is it, and you have your stuff down here. Anyway, but this is the handoff. It's easy. It just makes it things to be organized. So no need for Google Drive here, Google Drive there, Google Drive link there. Save this in PDF. Save that one in PDF. Everything is being managed within your dashboard. And once you're done with the project, you can just come here and click on delivered, and your project is done, and you can create new ones and you can move ahead to new projects. And that is it for branding off. I really hope you love it, and I really hope you guys are going to enjoy using this app. We are still working on it, we're still working on some things. It's not yet completely live for now, but the moment it goes live, you're going to make the announcement, and you guys can now sign up. But for now, it is only available to few brand designers to help with reviews and to help with feedback and to help with us polishing the app. And one last thing to add before we go is that when you have the ability to customize your theme, when you come to settings, you can update your business details like the logo, the name, the email, the phone number, and although you can do this, although you have to do this when you're signing up, definitely you are going to be doing this when you sign up. But let's say you decided to leave some places blank in the sign up stage. and you decide to update them, you can actually do that by going to your settings, and then you also have access to both light mode and dark mode. It's my thing. Yeah. And also for free users, you can also customize the overall theme to fit into your branding structure. So let's say you already have a visual identity or a color for your brand, you can work on the theme to match the app itself for you. So you can, as you select, you can see it's a universal settings. You can see it updates automatically around your app. So for free users, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The first 5 colors you have it free. Then for pro users, you have the other 4 free. For pro users, you have access to the other 4 color palettes, and as well the ability to add your own custom code if you don't have if maybe the colors you want to choose are not here. You can also just put in your own custom codes to the mix, and it updates universally. So your example now, you can just do this, and when you click on apply, it applies universally. And one good thing about this custom theme is that it's not just only your dashboard that it works even in your client brief. So let's say, for example, now we decide to visit our client brief again. So let's say we decide to visit, I don't know if I copied it. So let's say we decide to visit our client brief once again. So let's try to see if I can still remember the client brief, and yeah, this is it. This is your client brief. You can see it updates everywhere. You can see it updates. And if you come back here and you decide to update your color scheme again, so let's say you decide to update your color scheme, something like this, it updates universally. Once you refresh this page, it matches your color scheme. You just updated to, as you can see, it matches your color scheme. So it's not just only on your dashboard that the color scheme reflects, it also reflects even to your brand brief. That is just to show the level of customization you can go with this, and just to make sure that you carry your brand everywhere it is in BrandingOff. So yeah, that's it. One of the icing on the cake. Thank you so much, guys, for helping me. We are one of the major features we are currently building when it comes to the workbench and the brand guideline aspect is also to indicate the pages you want the brand guideline to generate for you. So we have a series of pages, and we're going to list them all out. So you can now select which of the pages you want BrandingOff to generate for you. So see you guys I'll keep you guys updated as we keep on developing on this app. Cheers, guys. Have a nice one. Keep living for creativity. Bye.